Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Jones, P6 Biz Builders. An SOP is simply a written explanation of how you want something done in your business. It does not have to be a 40-page manual. It can be a checklist, a one-page document. It can be even a short video showing someone how to complete the job. There's a lot of programs out there now where you can screen capture and video on your computer while you're doing something on the computer, but you can also videotape somebody else doing the job and use that as part of it. Format is not the most important part. The real test is simple. Can another person follow it and get the results you expect? So when you write up that SOP or video it and give it to somebody, you let them run with it. Can they understand it? So this process tells your team what needs to happen. A process tells your team what needs to happen. And SOP explains how to make it happen. For example, send the customer an invoice is a process. The SOP explains who creates the invoice, when it goes out, what information belongs on it, who reviews it, and what happens if the customer does not pay. Step 1, step 2, step 3. No guessing. Think about your own company. What questions are you answering over and over and over again? What are the mistakes that keep happening? Are they the same mistakes, or are they just mistakes because there's nothing documented? What are you explaining for the third, fifth, or 10th time? These are usually the first things that need to nest. First SOP is client onboarding and offboarding. Every business has customers. You might call them clients, homeowners, patients, members, or general contractors. Whatever you call them, their experience should not depend on who answered the phone that day. When a new customer says yes, what happens next? Who welcomes them? What information do you collect? Who explains the schedule, price, payment terms, and next steps? What should that customer expect from your team? When you wing it, things get missed. You may forget to explain the one thing that makes you different from the cheaper company. You know why your company is worth more, but nobody clearly explained to your new customer. So the customer walks away thinking all the companies are the same. The back end matters too. When the job is finished, who confirms everything is complete? Who sends the final invoice? Who follows up? Who asks what could have gone better? Do not just ask, were you happy? Try asking, how did the experience compare with what you expected? Then ask, what could we have done to make the process easier? Their feedback is useful. It helps you update the SOP, what people are actually wanting instead of you thinking they want that. Take what you learn and use it to improve your SOP for the next customer. SOP number 2 is employee onboarding and offboarding. Even if you do not have a large team, you probably work with someone. Could be a subcontractor, bookkeeper, salesperson, office assistant, or part-time employee. How you bring those people into the company affects how well they do their jobs. I've had this conversation with owners more times than I can count. The owner hires somebody who looked great on paper, but the person does not perform the way the owner expected. I ask, how did you train that person? The owner says, I told him what to do. Then I ask, did you show him how you wanted it done? And explain what a good result looked like? This is usually where the conversation stops. You may have been doing the work for 20 or 30 years. To you, it's just instinct. You just know what to do. To a new employee, it's a guessing game. They don't know how it should be done. They don't know what you're expecting, what the customer is expecting, what you want the end product to look like. So, and again, that employee may be guessing in front of your customer. Your onboarding SOP should explain what the company stands for, what the employee is responsible for, where information is stored, who answers questions, and how success will be measured. Then ask the new employee, what has been clear so far? What has been confusing? What do you need from us to do this job correctly? Those questions are much better than much better than waiting for a mistake and asking, why didn't you know that? Because they've never been told. A good employee in a business with no systems can still look like a bad employee because they don't know what to do. Sometimes the person is not the problem. The missing system is. SOP number 3 is customer service. Have you ever recommended a restaurant to a friend and your friend had a terrible experience? Same restaurant, same menu, completely different experience. That is what can happen when a customer service is not consistent. Things will go wrong in every business. A job may run longer than expected. Material may arrive damaged. An appointment may need to be moved. A customer may be unhappy. Your team needs to know what to do before that happens. The SOP gives them steps. Your company policies give them the fence. Here's what you can handle on your own. Here's when you need to call me. Here's what our company will never do. Inside that fence, let your people take care of the customer. If they call you before fixing every small problem, the customer sits there waiting, and waiting is often the part of the customer remembers. And as you know, nowadays, people don't like to wait at all. Ask yourself, what happens to the customer when my team has to wait for me? Then go one step further. How many repeat jobs or referrals could we lose if this keeps happening? Your employees do not need permission to do everything. They need clear limits and confidence to act inside that fence. Those limits. SOP number 4 is marketing sales. Now, this is the one that's probably going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. You can grow into several SOPs later on, but for now, just start with one. How do you generate a lead, and how do you turn that lead into a customer? Most business owners I work with are good at what they do. In fact, many of them are really, really good at sales, but that's not always the problem. Problem is that sales process is not consistent. Lead comes in, but nobody knows who should follow up, how quickly to respond, what questions to ask, or what should happen after the quote is sent. Start by writing down 4 things. Where do our best leads come from? Who contacts each lead? What questions do we ask before giving a price? What happens after we send the quote? Your sales SOP should not turn your people into pushy salespeople. It should help them have a better conversation. Instead of jumping straight into your service, ask, what is happening that caused you to look for help? How long has this been going on? How is it affecting your cash, your time, your team, or your customers? What would you improve if the problem is fixed? Those questions come from the same basic thinking used in SPIN and NEPQ sales methods. You're helping the person understand what the problem is so they can help you out in doing your quote. You're not trying to talk somebody into buying something they do not need. You are helping them to decide whether the problem is serious enough to solve. And when the sales process is written down, somebody else can follow it when you are sick, away from the office, or working in another part of the company. Sales should not completely stop because the owner took 3 days off. 5th SOP is financial management. Number 5. This is the one the owners often put off, but made the most important. This SOP explains how money comes into the company, how it stays in the company, and how it goes out. How quickly do invoices go out? Who follows up on unpaid invoices? How are the bank accounts reconciled? When does the owner review the financial statements? How are the bills approved? How do you know how much cash will be available 4, 8, or even 13 weeks from now? A company can have strong sales and still run short of cash. Sales are not the same as cash in the bank. The core problem is often the owner cannot see when the money is coming in, when bills need to be paid, or where a shortage may be developing. Your financial SOP should create a regular routine. Invoices go on a set schedule. Unpaid invoices are reviewed every week. The books are closed every month. Cash flow is forecast before the shortage becomes an emergency. That way you can plan for it. Ask yourself, what financial information am I usually seeing too late? Then ask, what decisions could I have made differently if I had had that information sooner? Most owners, they don't need more reports. They need the right information at the right time. I know this may be the boring one. I can tell that from doing tax returns, the way people bring information in. You can tell they've done it the week before they came in. Because of that, I know it's one of the things that you'd rather put off. Do it anyway. If you keep up on it monthly, you can make your decisions a lot easier. And again, I say that with love. I promised you 2 bonus SOPs, so here they are. The first is project management. How do you keep your people on task? What system do you use? It could be a project management software or basic spreadsheet. It just needs to show what has to be done, who is responsible, and the big thing, when it is due. Without that, things fall through the cracks, and you're the person catching them at the 10 o'clock at night. The second bonus is an SOP for writing SOPs. It sounds strange, but you need one. As the company grows, you should not be the only person writing SOPs. Your employees should be able to help the document work to perform because they're the ones actually doing it every day, not you. You may be doing one thing over here. They can do another thing over here. You should let them document it. But if everybody writes SOPs in a different way, stores them in a different place, you do not have a system. You have a mess inside a folder. We've all seen it. Decide how SOPs will be written, who reviews them, where they are stored, and how they get updated. Get that part right once, and every SOP after it becomes easier. Where to start? You may think, Tom, this sounds great, but we have almost nothing written down. Where do I start? Start with the problem that interrupts you the most. Do not try to document your whole company this weekend. Pick one repeated task. Write down the steps while the task is being completed. Then have another person follow the instructions. Ask that person what was missing, what was not clear, what would make this easier next time. Fix it, use it again. The first version does not need to be perfect. You're just trying to get the information down. Just get it down and adjust as you go. The first version needs to be useful. So let me bring this home. The 5 essential SOPs are: you've got client onboarding and offboarding. You've got employee onboarding and offboarding. You've got customer service, documenting that. Marketing and sales, which will probably end up being your biggest SOP because there's going to be so much going on there. Number 5, financial management is the one that people miss the most, but is the most important. And again, do not try by trying to write a giant company manual. Start with a repeated question, mistake, delay, or interruption that is costing you the most time or money. Fix that one first. Company with good systems is easier to run, easier to grow, easier to train people in, and biggest thing, it's more valuable when the owner wants to step back or eventually sell. He may want to give it down to his kids. The kids can keep the company going. They don't have everything's there. Or you may want to sell it to a third party and he'll get more money because everything's documented and those people don't have to be there to keep the company running. And more importantly, it gives you a chance to take a real week off without carrying the entire company in your pocket. If you know your business needs better systems, but you're not sure where to begin, send me a private message with the word systems. I'll help you figure out which area you should work on first. If cash flow is the part that concerns you most, send me a private message with the word cash flow, and we will get you information about my 13-week cash flow forecast. You do not need to post anything in the comments, just send me a private message. And if your company is already dealing with missed deadlines, repeated mistakes, cash surprises, or too many decisions coming back to you, why wait for the problem to get worse? I can help you now. You can schedule a free 30-minute proactive cash flow and profit strategy session. We'll look at what is happening in your business, identify the biggest bottleneck or problem, and talk about what the next practical steps are. The booking information is included in this video. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, P6 Biz Builders. We're sharing more information about cash flow, profitability, systems, leadership, and building a company that does not depend on the owner for every decision. By the way, do you know of anybody else that could use our services? Maybe they're working too many hours, struggling with cash flow, or answering the same questions every day. Feel free to share my information with them or ask them to send me a private message. Thanks for spending time with me. Remember, your people cannot follow instructions that only exist in your head. Write down one process this week, test it, improve it, and then move on to the next one. Thanks and have a great day.